Ayumi goes to bed and sees a strange shadow on her balcony. It turns out to be the master thief Kaito Kid. Kid gently presses a kiss to the back of Ayumi's hand. Suddenly, a police helicopter comes flying in and they hear Inspector Ginzo Nakamori shouting that he's spotted Kid and that they have to catch him now. Kid quickly says goodbye to Ayumi and jumps, opening his hang glider and flying away from the police. At school, Ayumi excitedly tells her friends that she met handsome Kaito Kid. Conan thinks that he is going to catch the master thief one day. On August 19, the police hold a meeting about Kaito Kid at Tokyo Metropolitan Police Headquarters. They start by giving an overview of Kid's criminal career. The thief with the case number 1412, better known as Kaito Kid, has committed 134 heists, 15 in 12 other countries other than Japan, including America, France, and Germany, stealing jewels worth a total of 38,725,000,000 yen. Kid recently announced his new heist in his usual cryptic fashion, between the dusk of the lion and the dawn of the virgin, when the second hand on the clock indicates the 12th symbol. I will take the memory's egg from Shining Sky Chamber. The last wizard of the century, Kaito Kid. The memory's egg is a priceless egg made by famous jeweler Faberge and belonged to the Russian imperial family, the Romanovs. It was recently discovered in a collection of antiquities belonging to the Suzuki Corporation. The memory's egg was originally a gift from the Russian Tsar to his wife on Easter Sunday. It belonged to a collection of rare eggs made by famous jeweler Faberge between 1885 and 1916. So far, 50 of these eggs have been found worldwide, meaning the memory's egg will be the 51st piece. The Suzuki Corporation, which currently owns the egg, plans to display it in the Modern Arts Museum in Osaka, beginning on August 23. Inspector Nakamori explains the current state of the investigation. Following Director Suzuki's wishes, the police asked Kagoro Mori to help protect the egg. They also believe Kaito Kid will show up at Osaka Castle. Nakamori implores his officers to work together with their colleagues in Osaka and to protect the egg at all costs, telling them it doesn't matter if Kid escapes this time. But then he changes direction and holds a fiery speech, telling everyone their reputation is on the line if they don't catch Kid as well, and that they have to finally put him behind bars. He is met with loud cheers. Kagoro, Ran, and Conan get off the train in Osaka, and Sonoko picks them up, announcing that she's giving them a ride in the family limousine. She introduces everyone to their driver, her father's secretary Masato Nishino, who speaks English, French, and German fluently and has already visited lots of overseas countries. Meanwhile, the detective boys visit Professor Agasa and tell him it's unfair that Conan gets to go to Osaka by himself. Agasa cheers them up by bringing them slices of watermelon. The limousine arrives at the Suzuki Modern Arts Museum, which is guarded by many police officers. Ran, Sonoko, Kagoro, and Conan get out of the car and run into Heiji and Kazuha. Sonoko takes her guests to see her father Shiro, who is delighted to see Kagoro. Sonoko introduces Heiji and Kazuha to her father as well, and Chairman Suzuki presents his guests, Sergei Ovchinnikov, a high-level representative of the Russian embassy, Shoichi Inui, an arts dealer, Siren Hoshi, a Chinese historian specializing in the Romanov dynasty, and freelance reporter Ryu Sagawa, who is currently investigating the memory's egg and its origins. Kagoro wants to know more about the egg. Inui explains it is valued at 600 million yen and he would be able to afford it if Chairman Suzuki wants to sell the egg. Ovchinnikov angrily interjects, saying the egg belongs to Russia and needs to be sold to the Russian National Museum instead of just some arts collector, which offends Inui. Inui and Ovchinnikov leave, telling the chairman they'll discuss this later. Nishino brings the egg into the room and Chairman Suzuki orders him to get everyone something to drink while he opens the egg. The egg contains several figures, Tsar Nicholas II and his family crowded together around a book, all made of gold. There is a lock for a key in the front of the egg, and when a key is inserted there, the pages of the golden book on the Tsar's knees begin to turn. Heiji brings everyone's attention back to Kid's message and asks the group what the Shining Sky Chamber could refer to. Kazuha replies that there is a saying that the fundaments of Osaka Castle are especially beautiful, so maybe Kid meant Osaka Castle is a shining light for the city. Superintendent Chaki and Inspector Nakamori join them and report that they are certain Kid will appear at Osaka Castle, but they still haven't figured out when. Kagoro has a sudden epiphany and declares that the 12th symbol refers to the 12th letter of the Latin alphabet, which is the letter L. At 3 a.m., the hands on a clock form the letter L, so that must mean Kid will appear at 3 a.m. Ran, Conan, Heiji and Kazuha visit Naniwa Buddha Shrine and get their fortunes read. Ran is excited about her good fortune and the message that tells her if you wait, you will meet your love once again. Conan and Heiji leave the girls to it and discuss the riddle again. They are not certain that 3 a.m. really is the right answer. On the way back, Conan has a look at his message from the shrine and is confused. It says, when a tsunami destroys your home, nobody will be hurt, but also, and that alarms him, a secret will be revealed. Chairman Suzuki and Kagoro plan to eat at a restaurant since it is a while until Kid is supposed to show up. Inspector Nakamori wants to collect the egg and Kagoro asks if he's going to carry it to the exhibit. Nakamori reveals that the egg is fake. The original plan was to take the original egg to the place Kid mentions in his notice and set a trap for him, but Kid is too smart for that, so the police will hide the egg somewhere Kid doesn't know. Nakamori can't tell Kagoro where the original egg is, only he himself and his subordinates know. He already did a face check on his subordinates to see if Kid hasn't snuck in, wearing an elaborate disguise. Kagoro suddenly grabs Nakamori, pulling at his cheeks to check if he wasn't actually Kid in disguise, explaining that someone has to check Nakamori as well. Nakamori angrily does the same to Kagoro, and while they wrestle, a white pigeon wearing a record device can be seen on the windowsill. Conan and Heiji go back to the museum once it is dark and watch Natsumi Kosaka, the owner of a sweet shop, and her family's assistant Kuranosuke Sawabe argue with Nishino. Natsumi asks for an urgent meeting with Chairman Suzuki because she saw the picture of the Imperial Easter egg on the leaflets announcing the exhibition and realized that this egg looked different from the sketch her great-grandfather made. Heiji looks at his watch and says, "That's interesting. 3 a.m. looks like a L and now we'll almost have a he dot." It is currently 7:13 in the evening and at 7:20, the hands on the clock form a he. Conan looks at Heiji in shock. He has just figured out the second part of Kid's message. He is the 12th character of the phrase. Kid didn't mean 3 a.m., but 7:20 p.m. Conan and Heiji want to rush to Osaka Castle when it suddenly starts to rain and Heiji realizes that Shining Sky Chamber was meant to refer to the Tsuten Tower because there is a weather station on top of Tsuten Tower that shines. Kid gets himself ready on top of Tsuten Tower and the dove, with the recording device, returns to him. He gets a remote out of his pocket and sets off fireworks at Osaka Castle. Chairman Suzuki and Kagoro have a good time at restaurant Kakahi and watch the unexpected fireworks. Conan says the fireworks were an attempt to divert attention away from Tsuten Tower and asks Nishino if he knows where the egg is. Nishino replies that Nakamori took it to a different secret location. There is another sudden explosion at Haganokia Electric Substation, which causes a blackout in the entire city. Kid planted bombs at the station to watch where emergency power is turned back on after the blackout, helping him figure out where the egg actually is. He watches from the top of Tsuten Tower and realizes the egg is in an abandoned warehouse. Kid flies to the warehouse on his hang glider, chased by Conan on his skateboard, but Conan gets stuck in a dead end. Heiji picks him up on the motorcycle and they reach Kid's location. Conan enters the warehouse alone and goes upstairs, finding Kid, who has already taken the egg and has knocked Nakamori and his officers out. Kid activates his car gun, filling the room with smoke, and uses the confusion to fly away. Conan escapes the warehouse and Heiji and Conan chase after Kid on his motorcycle. Heiji injures himself and tells Conan to go run after Kid, when suddenly, a shot is fired, aimed at Kid's right eye, who crashes and falls into the sea. Conan retrieves the egg and Kid's injured pigeon. A wide-range search for Kid's body gets underway, but the police can't find any traces of the master thief and nobody knows if he is still alive. The following day, the exhibition is cancelled to keep the egg safe. Everyone returns home on a luxury liner belonging to the Suzuki Corporation. On board, Natsumi explains herself to Chairman Suzuki. Natsumi worked as a beautician in Paris but returned to Japan after her grandmother's death. She found an old sketch by her great-grandfather when she looked through her grandmother's possession, which she now presents to the group. The sketch shows the memory's egg, but it looks like a middle part is missing from the egg. Conan examines the picture and asks if it's possible there were originally 2 eggs, because the outlines would align if you added a middle part. Conan asks himself what memories actually refers to and looks at the egg once again when he notices a small glass piece on the bottom of the egg. When he tries to touch it, it falls out. Conan picks it up and sees that something has been printed on the glass. He asks Nishino to turn the lights off and shines his wristwatch at the glass, making a picture of a castle reflect on the nearest wall. The glass is a mirror on which images were printed. Natsumi recognizes the castle as Yokosuka Castle, built by her great-grandfather and inherited by her grandmother. Kagoro says that Natsumi's great-grandfather must have taken the eggs with him when he fled Russia during the Russian revolutions. He must have sold the gems from the second egg to build Yokosuka Castle, and the egg must have been hid inside. He then left the message in the first egg's mirror for his descendants. Natsumi shows Kagoro the key she found among her grandmother's possessions and asks if the key is important. Kagoro excitedly replies it has to be, and that they will all look for the second egg in Yokosuka Castle once they are back in Tokyo. Ran and Conan care for Kid's pigeon and bandage its injured wings. There is a knock at the door and they open it, revealing Sagawa, who records them on his camera and leaves. Sonoko, Natsumi, and Nishino join them. The pigeon flaps his wings and Nishino flees in panic, covering his nose. Sonoko and Conan ask Siren to join them in Rant's room. Siren thanks them for the invitation and gets ready when Sonoko and Conan spot a photo frame on her desk that says Grigori on the back. Sonoko asks Siren if that is a photo of her boyfriend and Siren quickly says yes, putting the photo down on the desk. Natsumi tells Ran that she has been living in Paris since she was 20. They notice Natsumi has gray eyes, the same color as her mother and grandmother and, incidentally, Siren. Natsumi wonders whether Siren is her age and they find out they were born in the same year, 2 days apart. Conan tells them he was born in the middle of them on May 4th, which briefly makes Ran suspicious that he could be Shinichi because May 4th is Shinichi's birthday as well. Natsumi and Siren join Kagoro and Chairman Suzuki for a drink. Sagawa watches them and Siren asks Sagawa about the pendant he wears, a ring labeled Maria. Sagawa explains that this ring used to belong to Maria, a daughter of Tsar Nicholas II, and goes back into the ship. Sagawa is murdered that evening at 7:30 p.m., shot in the right eye by the unknown culprit. Nishino discovers the body and runs to tell Kagoro. Kagoro, Ran, and Conan accompany a panicked Nishino to Sagawa's bedroom and find his dead body. Kagoro examines the body and says that the murder must have been committed 30 minutes ago. The pendant is missing as well. Kagoro tells Chairman Suzuki to call the police. Inspector Magyar is at police headquarters in Tokyo when he receives the call and the officers decide to take a helicopter to the luxury liner. Shiratori and Takagi join Magyar. Kagoro welcomes his former colleagues and they examine the crime scene together. Kagoro explains about the ring that was taken from Sagawa and says that he thinks this was the motive for the murder. One of their constables finds a pen near the body which looks like the pen that Nishino carries with him, so they decide to ask him about it. Nishino is surprised, confirming that this is indeed his pen, but says he has no idea how it ended up in Sagawa's room. Kagoro questions him about his alibi. Nishino was preparing dinner for everyone and had just got everything ready, so he planned on telling Sagawa, went to his room and found him dead. He claims he took a shower at 7:10 p.m. and had a short nap, saying that he must have slept at the time the murder was committed. Takagi comes back from the crime scene and reports that Sagawa's videotapes have gone missing, which would explain the chaos in the room. Upon hearing that, Conan suddenly runs off and Ran chases after him. Shiratori stops her, telling her to stay with the others and he will find Conan for her. Conan calls Professor Agasa and asks for his help. He wants Agasa to search online for murders that were committed by shooting the victims in their right eye. Agasa tells Conan he'll get to work immediately. When they speak again a while later, Agasa says that he had a look at the ICPO crime database and someone, whose age, gender, and origins are currently unknown, is indeed wanted for committing murders in that fashion. The ICPO have given the name Scorpion to the unknown serial killer. This is the end of part 1. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel, and don't forget to press the notification bell button to not miss upcoming interesting videos. See you later.